Hello friends and welcome back to Swift Lessons for a quick mini lead guitar tutorial. Today I was jamming with some of my private students here in Philadelphia and we started talking about easy ways of jamming over major keys, specifically the key of F major. So what we got into was the staircase technique. This is a concept that I've shared in previous lessons and I just want to reintroduce it to you today because it really is a fantastic way of being able to put together some very melodic lead lines. So basically the staircase concept is if you play your major scale on a single string, there it is in the key of F, the F major scale. Whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, and half step, we have the F major scale. Now, your staircase concept is wherever you see a half step in that sequence of notes. For example, between the third and fourth intervals, you can create this staircase shape, which is a really beautiful melodic sound. So we're jamming in the key of F. We climb up the scale. We get to that third note of the scale. And then we can throw in a little bit of that melodic, kind of jazzy sound. So let that be your lick for today. We're gonna play 5 on the E, 6 on the B, 7 on the G, and then 8 on the D string, descend down a half step, down to the 5th fret, and then back up to 7, landing on the major third in the key of F major, which is a very kind of resolved sounding tone. Okay, so let's review. We go up to the third interval, and we can put together that really beautiful staircase shape, arpeggiate it, descending or ascending, just like that. Okay, now remember we can do this wherever we see a half step in that sequence of notes in the major scale. So here's our next one, 12 and 13. That means on the 12th fret I can set up that exact same kind of staircase shape. Okay, in this position, we're actually arpeggiating the chord F major 7, okay, which is much easier with this cutout here. Okay, so lots of different things that I can do here. I can do the exact same lick I did before. This time, it's gonna drop me off right there on the root note, F. And then on the major 7, which is extremely jazzy. Okay, we can kind of sweep up the chord. All right, just dragging the pick. Go up to 13, 15, and then slide to the 12th fret of the high E string. Again, a major 7 interval, which is so jazzy. Okay, so there you have it. Playing through the major scale on a single string, establishing where your half steps are, and then setting up those staircase arpeggios. Okay, so now let's create a little exercise for us to practice throughout the week. We can start off just playing through the major scale on a single string. That's very good to practice. All right, then we're going to play up to the 4, then return back to the 3rd interval and do our little staircase run. All right, then we're going to go all the way up to the 13th fret, the root note and major 7 half step interval there, and we're going to throw in our arpeggio there. Okay, so there's your exercise. Let's see if we can do that together now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Playing through the whole scale. All right, then our first arpeggio. Then going up to the higher position. Just like that. Now we're trying it a little bit faster. Okay, for a lead guitar exercise in the key of F major. Okay, now, real quick, one last bit of information. When we play through this major scale and we discover these little staircase positions, what we're actually playing is just a bit of a greater major scale position. Okay, so this little staircase shape all belongs to this major scale position that we call the C position. Okay, this is an F major chord because the root note is F, but the shape is a C shape in bar chord form. So that little staircase is inside of this position of the F major chord and F major scale. Okay, so let's make sure that we know how to play the F major scale in C position, which is such a very, very useful scale to learn. So we have 8 on the A string, 5 on the D string, 7, 8, 5 on the G string, 7, 5 on the B string, and then finding another root note on the 6th fret of the B string. Traveling on, we're going to the next octave, 8th fret, then the high E string. We have 5, 6, and 8. Okay, so if you're playing through, it's gonna sound like that. The B string and high E string are identical. If you find yourself on that major third, try throwing in that staircase shape. Okay, now that next position that we had, that staircase, is just a portion of our standard position major scale. This is a position of the major scale that everybody should learn. This is really the first one that everybody learns. So it's actually called the E position of the F major scale. Okay, because we're outlining this E shape bar chord. Okay, so this common position of the major scale in this key is going to be 13 to 15, 12 to 13 and 15. Then on the D string, we're gonna have 12, 14, 15. Same thing on the G string. Okay, then on the B string, we're gonna have 13 to 15. Then the high E string, 12 to 13. You can also throw in 15 if you like. Okay, so again, climbing up the scale. Right there. All right. One thing we just learned is actually very, very huge if you want to be able to transpose this concept to different keys. So if I have F major in bar chord form, behind the bar, 1/2 step, I can throw in that little arpeggio shape, okay, the staircase shape. And that means we can do that in any key. So one thing that you might want to do is try to set up like an A major bar chord and see if you can find your staircase positions in the key of A. So how do we do it? All you need to do is find the root note of that chord on the high E string and then go back a fret. All right, this is the major 7 and the root, a 1/2 step, which means that we could throw in that staircase arpeggio, and that's also going to be just a part, again, of the main position of our major scale. So as an exercise, as an added exercise, I would invite you to climb up the scale to the next root, then throw in your arpeggio exercise. Or go all the way up 2 octaves. Just find different ways of combining the major 7 arpeggio, that staircase shape, and that major scale. Okay, again, if you're playing through the major scale this time in the key of A, again, wherever we see those 1/2 steps, you're gonna throw in that really cool staircase arpeggio. All right, everyone, I hope you found this useful, and I hope it's going to kind of instigate some creative ideas. See if you can write yourself a song, or if you can cue up a backing track that will fit, you can try to apply this technique. That's the most important thing. As soon as you learn something, try to find ways of applying it.